Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, with no breakthrough in sight, BSI-ASR proposes another interim agreement to get sugar crops started. Police investigate possible hate crime in San Pedro. And the Three Lagoons Sustainability Program embarks on reforestation initiative. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, December 20th, 2022.
Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamt of going to Mars. You can keep my dream alive.
Come with me. You cannot, under any circumstances, leave my room, okay? Only for 35 days.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with
Centaur, your kind of company.
Good evening with your news. Also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. The Sugar Industry Control Board, SICB, has set December 27th as a tentative date for the commencement of the 2022-2023 with the proviso that BSI and BSCFA sign a commercial agreement. But in sight that despite days of mediation, there has been no breakthrough, today, in a turn of events, the Belize Sugar Industries Limited, American Sugar Refining, BSI-ASR, has suggested to the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association, BSCFA, that a two-year interim agreement on the same terms as that in place last season be signed so that the crop season is no longer delayed. In an official statement, BSI-ASR says this will provide time for further consideration of alternative approaches and to ensure BSCFA farmers are able to deliver their cane and avoid any further delays to the crop and damage to the economy of Belize. BSI-ASR maintains that the demands of the BSCFA since the expiration of the most recent commercial agreement would transfer massive value from the mill to farmers and would make the sugar mill financially unviable, and says it has not sought any additional advantage, financial or otherwise, from BSCFA. The miller argues that its investments helped increase the cane price by 30% over last crop's payment. This year, cane prices are predicted to be similarly favorable, and that additional fiscal processes are available to provide the association, still the industry's largest representative of farmers, with the certainty and transparency claims are currently missing. Tower Hill also declares it is ready as soon as the SICB gives the word, even though the remaining cane farmer associations, representing about half of the total sugar cane to be milled, have standing agreements to deliver cane and are prepared to do so, but are impeded due to the BSCFA-BSI dispute. The BSI statement concludes, "Every day that passes is a lost opportunity for the industry and the national economy, recognizing the important role of the sugar industry in supporting the livelihoods of so many people and the benefits it brings to the national economy, including the provision of 15% of Belize's electricity needs from renewable energy." BSI's letter to the BSCFA took the Committee of Management by surprise. The proposal made by the manufacturer to sign a 2-year interim agreement on the same terms as that in place last season was never discussed during the 2 weeks mediation process that until now has both entities swimming in turbulent waters. While there are those who might be praising BSI-ASR for trying to find a solution to the current impasse, for the BSCFA, the move is questionable.
En realidad, no esperábamos de que salga un release de parte de ellos. Vemos otra vez el juego sucio que están haciendo, porque pues eso que sacaron en el documento no fue nada que tratamos durante la mediación que teníamos. Así es de que en realidad no esperábamos de que esto iba a suceder. Nosotros estamos en espera de nuestra junta para presentarle a nuestros cañeros en lo que hasta donde llegamos en la mediación. Así es de que esta información que sacó BSI realmente no estamos de acuerdo con ello, porque pues no fue algo que tuvimos durante la mediación.
Okay. During the negotiations, I think there have been 4 so far, something about like that. But during the negotiation meetings, did BSI-ASR ever table that forward to your association?
No, ese punto a donde que sacó ahorita de que ellos están proponiendo 2 años, eso no se tiró en la mesa. Siempre estuvimos luchando de parte de nosotros en ver de que podamos en lograrnos. Nosotros estábamos moviéndonos y como siempre habíamos propuesto 3 años, así es de que ellos estuvieron siempre apegados a sus 7, 5 años cuando lo menos que estaban presentando. Así es de que esta presentación o este release que hicieron hoy realmente con los 2 años que pusieron allá realmente pues no es que nos agarró off guard, pero realmente vemos una vez más el juego sucio que están jugando dentro de la industria.
Whether the membership of the largest association will accept BSI's proposal will be known after an emergency meeting is held on December 22nd, says the chairman of the BSCFA's Committee of Management, Alfredo Ortega.
Nuestra junta para el jueves es ir a presentar lo que BSI había tirado, sus 2 propuestas que había tirado en la mesa. Claro, se lo tenemos que presentar al cañero, y también le vamos a presentar al cañero nuestras 3 propuestas que le habíamos hecho a BSI, de la cual hubo un rechazo de ellos. Así es de que uno que ellos sacaron, pues también se lo tenemos que presentar al cañero, porque ya circula afuera, ya está, ellos se lo sacaron, no sé a quién tanto se lo han enviado, pero pues es una propuesta que ellos tiraron. En realidad nos sentimos en esa situación que no estamos contentos, porque ellos saben la línea, saben la cadena, cómo debían de estar mandando su información. Sin embargo, han optado por sacar esa información al público, pero aunque lo han sacado al público, pues nosotros se lo vamos a presentar al cañero el jueves.
what do you think? And you know your members, right? So you would know how they think, how they react, because you obviously present information to them in a way that they can feed on. Knowing your members, what do you think they will agree to? Do you think they will consider what PSI is proposing at this point in time?
Bueno, en realidad en estos momentos no podría yo contestar esa pregunta así en directo, porque pues lo tenemos que presentar y basado en lo que el cañero quede de acuerdo el jueves, esa es la presentación que le vamos a hacer a BSI.
During Thursday's emergency meeting, an update on the mediation process will also be provided to the membership if the association and whether resolutions are passed. BSI-ASR will be informed.
Nosotros queremos empezar la zafra, nosotros estamos dispuestos a empezar la zafra. Ahora nosotros queremos ver qué va a ser, qué es en BSI, porque una vez que terminemos nuestra junta y el cañero quede de acuerdo en una posición, a ellos se los vamos a enviar y entonces ya queda en el lado de ellos que ellos acepten lo que se les está enviando y de allá, entonces ya vamos para buscar esa fecha en comienzo de zafra.
You are one of the, if not the largest association of sugar in northern Belize, but what are your other association brothers saying? Have you heard from the other associations?
Bueno, en realidad tenemos una asociación que cuando hubo la junta dijo de que tienen problemas con Sugar Roots y eso pues todas las asociaciones, los cuatro hablaron de que esos problemas, inclusive BSI habló de que tienen problemas con Sugar Roots para sacar la caña. Hay varios cañales que están bajo agua todavía. Claro, nosotros tenemos, y como bien mencionaste, nosotros representamos 60% de la membresía y tenemos una producción del 53.9% de producción. Siendo la asociación más grande, a nosotros nos quedó mucho más caña en Stanover el año pasado, así es que tenemos una gran cantidad de cañeros que no pudieron entregar nada de caña el año pasado, que están esperando que se pueda hacer este año. Así es de que nosotros no queremos atrasar nada, queremos ver de que la zafra empiece y podamos entregar nuestra caña. Sin embargo, queremos de que la ventaja que se nos va tomando, que se le va tomando a nuestros cañeros realmente se vaya disminuyendo y el cañero pues pueda conseguir algo justo por su trabajo que está haciendo.
And for those who believe the BSCFA is hijacking the crop and infringing on the rights of those who are ready to deliver cane to the factory, Ortega had this to say.
Fuimos 2 semanas que estuvimos con la mediadora en medio de nosotros y BSI nunca quiso realmente negociar algo justo con nosotros. Así es de que en realidad no es BSCF que ha estado atrasando esto. BSCF ha estado tratando siempre de que ven a la mesa, vamos a negociar, y eso es lo que no ha sucedido de la otra parte. Así es de que mis hermanos cañeros que están en las otras asociaciones, que lo único que yo les puedo decir, BSCF, igual que ellos, queremos entregar nuestra caña, pero queremos algo justo, que se haga una justicia en favor de nuestros cañeros. Vemos la desventaja que se está viviendo, vemos, simplemente si te das cuenta, en Jorge, cuánto está el precio del fertilizante, cuánto está el precio de los herbicidas, cuánto está el precio del combustible. Si lo pones a lo que era el año antepasado, a lo que es este año, que ya estamos casi a punto de terminar, en realidad todo triplicó, duplicó, hay unos que hasta 4 veces más caro subió el material y el cañero en su pago. ¿Me entiendes? Es cierto, logramos $70, pero cuando tú ves el precio de todas esas cosas, todo se diluye. Hay muchos cañeros que se quedan sin nada porque no solo es comprar sus necesidades, sino que también le deben a los bancos, porque el cañero tiene que prestar para que la zafra que viene, él ya hizo préstamo para que él pueda entregar ese producto. En realidad no es BSCF, BSI, como todo, necesita también tomar su responsabilidad dentro de la industria azucarera, de la cual lo han querido hacer, pero a su forma de ellos.
But despite all odds, Ortega is hopeful that an agreement, even if it is an interim one, will be signed and the 2022-2023 crop season will kick off before the new year.
Sí debe de haber un acuerdo, porque en la manera donde nos encontramos ahorita o en la posición donde estamos ahorita, no nos queda de otra más que tener un acuerdo porque queremos entregar nuestra caña, nuestros cañeros necesitan entregar nuestra caña. Así es de que no veo de que no tengamos un acuerdo, pero todo va a depender de cuál de los acuerdos el cañero apruebe el jueves. No es lo que Fred diga, sino es de lo que los cañeros aprueben el jueves.
A UDP convention has been scheduled for February 5th next year, and there are 3 persons vying for that seat. Those are Emil Torres, John Saldivar, and George Lovell. Saldivar is able to contest the convention after receiving the blessings of the National Party Council of the UDP, who overruled the decision of the special committee. As for Lovell, he is not wasting any time and is already on the campaign trail. In an interview with the media today, Lovell says it is an easy choice, more so when the former UDP representative John Saldivar lost by 3,000 votes in the last elections. He says that it is a clear message from the people of Belmopan.
In 2020, when we had the general election, there was a clear message that was sent to the UDP, and in particularly here in Belmopan. The former era representative had lost not just by 2,200 votes, but in my view, the incumbent had actually won by almost 3,000 votes, because that's the kind of differences that he had to overcome to be able to win by 2,000 or more votes. In my mind, the former representative would not have been able to recover from such a defeat. I believe that the message that was sent then was simple because the UDP had failed the people in whatever way, shape, or form you would want to see. And for them to recover from that, they need credible, capable individuals who can go beyond the test of any of these kinds of scrutinies that people would want to have as it relates to corrupt practices or anything that is untoward. I believe that I have that. And so I have decided to put my name up to Belmopan and give the people a credible option or choice.
Lovell says he is that credible option. While he would not throw shade on his opponents, he highlighted his accomplishments in the past. Lovell says that should be considered at the time of casting a vote.
I am not just a Johnny come lately. I have been in the public service. I've served this nation and people of Belize for well over 40 years, and with distinction. I started off initially at the government audit back in 1979, and I moved on to the Belize Defense Force, where I served for 21 years. I retired from the Belize Defense Force, and I was the head of the National Emergency Management Organization from 2004 up until 2008. In 2008, I became a CEO in the Ministry of Public Utilities, Communication and National Emergency Management. I also serve as a CEO for Police and Public Safety when we had all that sort of gang problems in the country and we needed to have someone to deal with that. I serve as the CEO for National Security. I serve as the CEO for Home Affairs. I serve as the CEO for a number of different ministries on different occasions when there were changes.
As for his opponent, John Saldivar, Lovell says Belmopan deserves better.
Belmopan deserves better. And it's unfortunate what happened to the former era representative. Very unfortunate. And I would have thought that he would have done the right thing and just step aside and don't cause himself to go through what he's going through. But he had chosen to do so. And he has a right to do that. And he, if you interview him, will give you compelling reasons why he's doing what he's doing. And so I will not go against anything that he's doing or say anything adverse about what he's doing. What I can say is that in George Lovell, the Belmopan people who deserves better will have somebody who is credible, who can, as I said earlier, can stand the test of any kind of scrutiny.
The trio go head-to-head February 5th in Belmopan. 28-year-old Aaron Castillo is a homosexual that has lived on the island of Ambergris Key for many years. However, on Sunday evening, while running errands in Southside San Pedro town, a trio of men driving on a carry-all cart slammed into the rear end of Castillo's golf cart. The incident was caught on security cameras in the area, but what should have been an easy, "I'm sorry, let's make this work," quickly escalated into an unmeasured altercation.
So this occurred on Sunday evening. I had journeyed to Belize City this Saturday, because we had our staff party. And we left Belize City on the 1 o'clock boat back to San Pedro. Recently, I started a little side hustle, I would say, making a little charcuterie platter. And I had one for that Sunday for 6 p.m. So I had dropped my manager off and I had borrowed the golf cart to do some last minute shopping because I had like fruits and stuff for purchase. I went down south to Superby South for some strawberries. On my way back, I encountered myself with a co-worker of my mother. She works front desk at Corona Del Mar. I offered her a ride and everything, and on our way down to town by LC's distributors, I was rear-ended by a carry-on golf cart with 3 guys. I parked to the side, and they came off of the cart, and they come watch the damages that was caused, after knocking me. He had approached me, I would say, mannerful. He even offered that he would pay the damages. But after looking around on the cart, he saw a beer bottle and automatically assumed I was drunk. So now he started to do this thing where now it's my fault. You crashed me. And I was not having it, because it was not my fault. I didn't ask you to run into me. I have the video that shows clearly you tried to overtake and you hit me. Anyways, we did a lot of back and forth. And he kept insisting it was my fault. And when I said something about if he had brazed the cart, he made a comment and said, "What I know about braze, why?" So there and then I could say, well, the conversation was escalating and going nowhere. So I decided that it would have been pointless to continue arguing with them. Some standees across the street witnessed everything, and they crossed the street to let them know that they will not take advantage of me and chance me, because then they watch everything.
This forced Aaron Castillo to visit the San Pedro police station to get orientation as to what he was to do in regards of the situation.
So I went to the police station to make a report, and I was explained what the process would be. From that, I told the officer, well, I'm really pressed for time. By this time, it's by like almost 5 p.m. I explained to him I have a platter to make, so I will quickly go home and come back and make the report about the golf cart crash, because I not pay for this damages, it's very costly.
1 hour after, Castillo jumped on his borrowed golf cart and tried to get home in the San Pedrito area located behind the airstrip on the island. That did not turn out to be easy when the trio who slammed into his cart lay waiting him at the entrance of San Pedrito.
So I dropped off the girl because she accompanied me to the station, and I had dropped her off, and I was continuing my way home, like I said, to make my platter. I found myself in an encounterment with these 3 guys again, but at that time, I tell you, the look they give me, I immediately get intimidated, and I could see where they wanted to harm me. So I start drive the golf cart all out, and they pursued to chase me on the carry-on, which was obviously more faster than my cart. So they overtake me and park the golf cart, cross the road, This is in the entrance of San Pedrito, to ensure I'm not able to pass. So I know once that because you made a drink, you don't know what you made do. This was premeditated. They made it look for me for cause harm to me. I tried to drive through them, but I mean, obviously I was on a cart. So he dragged me off the cart, and that the way everything stopped and everything started happening. They start hit me. I mean, I blanked out for a bit, but I tried to remain, in it. Like I said, if I never defend myself, this could have escalated and been much, much worse, because I've seen people lose their life recklessly. I mean, sometimes you drink and you make foolish decisions. And I didn't want to be a case like that. So something in me said, you have to fight.
When Castillo managed to escape that second incident, he jumped on his cart and drove off in hopes of getting to his house, but the men were determined to finish the job and followed Castillo to his residence, where his father and a neighbor had to intervene.
They still proceeded to follow me because I was only like 5 minutes away from my house. They proceeded to still follow me all the way to my house. By that time, I ran inside where my father was inside sleeping, and I begged him to please come out and help me because I had my stuff on the cart. I had to come outside back. By that time, all three were in front of the premises I live, outside the gate. When we stepped outside, two of the guys approached my pa in conversation, while one of them still attacked me again. So we ended up in a tumble in the mud, a mud pit, and he made it choke me. It took a neighbor to come out and had to get aggressive with a firearm and tell him to release me. Otherwise he not may release me. He just kept choking me. I mean, these guys, I think their blood riled up and they not made it think, but I don't think that is justifiable. So after that incident, I proceeded back to the station to make my report when I was asked to go to the clinic. On my way to the clinic, I found myself in another encounterment with these guys. But at this time now, there was now 5 guys on the golf cart.
Castillo says he wants his story to be known because it could happen to anyone.
Ego may feel bad over the conversation. At the end of the day, the moral is you crashed me. I had no fault in this. So I did not deserve the treatment they gave to me and beat me up like that. I am somebody's child, a brother, they never made me think for that moment. And enough then drunkenness, what if they may half kill me or I may end up in a coma because of their stupidness? It's not fair and not right. So I decided to start talking about it. And it's not been easy because I live out here. I have to carry my day-to-day life. And I don't want live in a fear. I don't want live to watch my back 24/7 because I learned that these guys also live in San Pedrito where I live. So we've been neighbors all this while, but I am a person who keeps to myself. I try not to be in trouble, So now when I found that out, it has me completely baffled of how I want to carry myself again, feeling safe and secure, because I would imagine they want to retaliate more after this of me speaking out. But I had to let them know that this is not fair and I'm not trying to be malicious towards them. I understand they have family to and a life, but what they did to me was not right.
All 3 men were arrested and charged at the San Pedro's Magistrate Court. Coming up next, we'll tell you how you can help fight climate change. Stay tuned.
Win big with Shell! Shell is giving away over $20,000 $1,000 in prizes this Christmas. One lucky customer will win $6,500 in fuel. Plus, over 40 customers will win either $150 in fuel vouchers or $500 in cash. To enter, spend $40 Belize dollars or more in fuel. Complete the entry form and drop it in the boxes provided. Fuel up with Shell this Christmas for your chance to win. Promotion runs from November 21 to December 31, 2022. Terms and conditions apply. Visit solpetroleum.com/winbig with Shell for more details. Shell trademarks are used by Sol Brands Incorporated under license from Shell Brands International AG.
In November last year, the government of Belize signed the Blue Loan Agreement and Conservation Funding Agreement with the Belize Blue Investment Company and the Nature Conservancy. This mechanism enabled Belize to reduce its debt burden and increase its investment in marine conservation for at least 20 years. Also, the Marine Spatial Planning MSP is a public, inclusive, and participatory process through which stakeholders determine the optimal distribution of human activities across marine areas to achieve the country's ecological, economic, and social objectives. In determination of public investment, the National Conservation and Coastal Zone Management Authority and Institute hired outside contractors to design a logo that would capture its purpose of the project while remaining simple, relevant, timeless, and versatile. It was posted to social media, and the logo with most votes remained the one to represent the project.
For short. On October 19th of this year, the government of Belize launched the marine spatial planning process with the vision of a healthy, resilient, and equitably shared ocean that supports a thriving national economy and nurtures the culture and well-being of all Belizeans. The BSOP will define the optimal distribution of human activities across marine areas to achieve Belize's ecological, economic, and social objectives.
For the success of this process, the project must be inclusive of all interested sectors that can make it a success.
By definition, marine spatial planning is a public, inclusive, and participatory process. Stakeholder participation is essential for us to produce a plan that meets the needs of diverse sectors such as fisheries, tourism, maritime transportation, and national security, among others. The BSOP is stakeholder driven, and through their participation, we will ensure that the process will be inclusive and equitable. This applies even for those Belizeans who may not live directly off the sea. Because the marine environment is so critical to our national identity and national development, the BSOP is important to all of us. So we want the Belizean public to be fully engaged throughout the planning process.
Over the next 6 months, the BSOP engagement team will be visiting the coastal communities to kick off the engagement with community leaders, associations, and organizations representing the various sectors such as tourism and fishing, to mention a few. The general public is encouraged to remain connected and engaged for the next 4 years, which would see the implementation of the project. If a tree falls in a forest, will replanting help curb global warming? Scientists say planting 1 trillion trees globally could be the single most effective way to fight climate change. Since trees absorb carbon dioxide, which contributes to global warming, a worldwide planting initiative could remove a substantial portion of heat-trapping emissions from the atmosphere. In Belize, though, we do not contribute largely to carbon dioxide emission globally. The Three Lagoons Sustainability Program has embarked in a reforestation program where the goal is to plant some 400 seedlings across northern Belize. The group members belonging to some 24 villages across the Corozal and Orange Walk districts simultaneously replanted mahogany seedlings. Today, we spoke with the president of the Three Lagoons Sustainability Program, Edgar Leon, who who told us that the project is important for the future of our young people.
It's very important for the group, which includes 24 different villages, because we depend on trees. We live because trees provide oxygen. So that's so valuable, and we are rapidly losing them. So I think that we haven't been getting the right education in the fact that we harvest and we do not put back. So it's very important to our group because we will definitely extend the type of education to our young generations, and for us to, in a future, let's call it 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from today, we can say that we have a life logging industry, for example, which we have been losing so rapidly. And of course, serving for the purpose as well is our well-being as humans. So for us to coexist, we must keep a balance within us and nature.
Vayan says that the project is looking good so far and more can join the cause.
At the moment, we are starting a greenhouse nursery in partnership with the BOE. So we're working in partnership with the Department of Environment at the moment, and we want to extend our small reforestation program and extend it to more villages, and of course make it more available and make it planted in a large scale plan objective.
Three Lagoon Sustainability Program donated 10 seedlings to Copperbank Lagoon Side Group and 10 to Progressive Village Lagoon Side Group. A total of 282 out of 400 seedlings in the project has been transplanted so far. The future goal is to have people join the initiative to bring back mahogany trees in northern Belize. A further donation of laptops and Chromebooks has been made by a diaspora-based organization to the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology. 79 laptops and Chromebooks from Build Belize Incorporation were handed over by Raymond Gongora, Build Belize Incorporation Vice Chair, and Grace Pate, Build Belize Incorporation Treasurer, to Ministry Chief Executive Officer Diane Mejia on December 16th. CEO Mejia expressed gratitude on behalf of the ministry for the partnership which has assisted in transforming education for students who are recipients of these devices. She highlighted that the contributions made by members of the diaspora are pivotal in assisting the ministry to achieve its objective of ensuring all students from Standard 4 to 4th Form to have access to a device. This donation is the second of its kind to be made to the ministry by Build Belize. Earlier this year, the first donation, 133 laptops and Chromebooks, was made to the ministry through the contributions of Belizeans at home and in the diaspora. Members of the diaspora who are interested in learning more about Build Belize Donate to Educate program can visit the organization's website at buildbelizeinc.org. Henry Charles Usher, Minister of the Public Service, Constitutional and Political Reform, has held separate meetings with new United States Ambassador Michelle Kwan and Nicole Davison, British High Commissioner, on December 19th. In both cases, the purpose of the meeting was to establish a working relationship moving forward. Mutual areas of interest were discussed during the meeting, including constitutional reform and support for democratic institutions, as well as the importance of transformation of governance in Belize. Both parties pledged to promote the spirit of goodwill and to strengthen the existing relationship of cooperation between the two countries. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, December 21st here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our website at facebook.com/CTV3 Belize News, or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.